For many years, the Ruger 1022 has been the king of the hill when it comes to semi-automatic carbines. Well, the folks at Winchester decided to use engineering to try and challenge that venerable Ruger. The result was the Winchester Wildcat. Now, the gun we have here is the Wildcat SR, meaning suppressor-ready. This is a 16.5-inch barrel, 1 16 inch rate of twist, and there's a knurled thread protector here at the end. So if you want to mount a suppressor to this gun, it's pretty much ready. Now, going on inside this gun, there are a lot of engineering solutions to problems that 22s have. First of all, you can't have a gun without a good magazine. And the guys at Winchester decided, you know what? Let's do our own magazine because we think we can do a better job than Ruger does on the 1022. So their magazine looks like a 1022 magazine, and this gun will take BX25 magazines or other aftermarket Ruger magazines. But there's some differences going on here. You'll see, of course, that there's a metal plate here that's for the last round bolt hold open. And then these guys also have the same patent on the magazine developed for the Browning X-Bolt. And so you end up with a thumb wheel right here that allows you to take tension off as you're loading. But that said, if you want to use Ruger magazines, go right ahead. Just realize they don't have the thumb wheel, and of course there's no last round bolt hold open. So the lines of this gun are pretty unconventional. This is a 36.25-inch long gun, again 16.5-inch barrel, but they've made extensive use of polymers throughout this thing. So this gun, weighs 3.5 pounds, which frankly is interesting because the trigger is 5 pounds, 3 ounces. So the trigger pull weight is actually heavier than the whole gun unloaded. So the stock is polymer, it's skeletonized here in the rear, and you actually have a very, very narrow diameter grip right here. So whether you're a large-handed shooter or a small-handed shooter, you're probably not going to have much trouble getting into the wrist of this stock. So the Winchester engineers decided, you know what? One way to lock the bolt open is good, 2 is better. One way to take the magazine out is good, but 2 is better. So when it comes to removing the magazine, you can either hit the familiar latch here, pops out in your hand, or you see these red tabs here, you just pull those rearward and out kicks your magazine. Pretty clever. Now if you want to lock the bolt open, you can do it here with this tab, or there's also a tab on the left-hand side. You pull your bolt handle all the way to the rear, and you push the red tab rearward, and it locks your bolt open. So taking this gun apart is actually a lot easier than you might think, and that's one of the chief criticisms of the Ruger 1022. You can't clean it from the rear because, of course, it's a solid receiver. So what they did was combine the takedown mechanism with a way to get a bore brush in the back. And if you see here, there's a red dot there. You go ahead and pull the trigger, take some of the tension off the spring, push the button forward, and the whole thing just hinges down. This is actually the gun, and it's held in a polymer housing here. As a matter of fact, it comes with 2 hex wrenches to make adjustments or for full disassembly. But this bolt handle is kind of cool because it actually rotates. When it's in the gun, it stays straight, but in order to get it out, it rotates up out of the way. When you look at the front of the bolt on this thing, there's some things going on here. Of course, you have a hook extractor on the right-hand side, but instead of a vertical firing pin, the Winchester guys decided, you know what, we're just going to go ahead and go with a round firing pin, and we're going to make this whole thing striker fired. Another thing that the guys did on this was they put a regulator in, essentially, to determine how quickly the magazine feeds. It's a roller system, and it too is fairly clever. But this is the gun, this is the receiver, and you can totally get to anything there. When you look at the inside of the upper, of course, you've got your barrel in place here, but now you can get a brush and clean this thing from the back. So my hat is really off to the guys at Winchester. We've had 22 semi-automatic rifles for more than a century, but I gotta tell you, when it comes to using engineering to solve problems, the Wildcat is where it's at.
For more on firearms and shooting gear, go to AmericanRifleman.org.